The San Jose Sharks host the Nashville Predators, a battle of the toilet bowl. Here's what you need to know.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker of the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making the Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. If you want to be an everyday, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch this on YouTube. We continue our YouTube exclusive game previews where we spend about 8 to 10 minutes talking about tonight's game. We get to know the Predators, kind of looking at their lineups, all that fun stuff, and what I am watching for in this game. So both these teams are bottom of the standings right now. Of course, the Sharks are number 32. The Preds are number 30 with only Chicago in between them. These two teams last played in January. We had a back kind of a home and home where, if you remember, Nashville stormed back from a 5-1 deficit to win 7-5, and then came out and scored a bajillion goals against the Sharks to start a game. Sharks stormed back in that game to make it close, but the Preds prevailed. So this is the last game of the season series between these two. So let's look at how they match up. For the Predators, they are 24-32-7. The Sharks 17-39-9. The Preds are averaging 2.63 goals for per game, 29th in the NHL. 3.32 goals allowed per game, 27th in the NHL. Power play sitting at 20%, 21st in the NHL. And the PK at 81.1%, 9th in the NHL. So pretty solid PK for the Preds. Sharks are 2.62 goals for per game, 31st. Goals allowed, 3.71, 32nd. Also 20% PP, good for 21st. And the PK is at 74%, 27th. Forsberg leads the Preds in goals at 24, assists with 33, and points with 57. Toffoli leads the Sharks with goals at 24. Eklund has 34 points, and Eklund has 34 assists. Celebrini has 48 points, leading the San Jose Sharks. Looking at how these two teams match up, Sharks, both these teams are bad at 5-on-5 goals, which is why explains why they're so low at scoring goals to begin with. But Sharks 26 compared to the Preds 29th ranked. The Preds are actually solid at creating shot attempts and expected goals for, but just the finishing has not been there for them this season. And then the defensively, the Preds do give up a fair amount of they've had like solid shot attempts. They're kind of middle in the pack with that. But when it comes to actual give up goals, the goaltending has been a huge disappointment for the Preds this season, especially for UC Saros, who just signed an 8-year contract extension. So looking at the Preds, they're 29th in point percentage, 7th in division when it comes to actual point percentage. Only Chicago is worse than them in their own division. So goals for, like I said, their offense has not been there. They've done a good job at like being kind of middle of the pack when it comes to some of the like expected numbers, but they give up more goals than they're expected, and they don't score as many goals as they should score. So looking at their lines, Stamkos, O'Reilly, Evangelista, first line, Forsberg, Sissons, and Marchessault on the second line, Vrana, Svechkov, and Smith, Bellows and McCarron. That's how they lined up last time. I know Ozzy Weissblatt's been an old friend of ours. Ozzy Weissblatt's been also kind of in and out as well. Shea and Blankenberg, the top pairing. Delgazio and Stastny, the third. Englund and Barron on the third pairing. And then Osterley, if they go 11-7. Noonan and Saros are the two goalies as well. So for this game, right, I think for the Preds, who have been playing better recently, they've won 3 in a row, 6 out of 4. They've actually almost passed Buffalo. Buffalo did win the night on Monday night as well. They've almost this is a team that has been very like underperforming, but they have started to kind of get their act together a little bit here recently. Like I said, winning 6 out of 4, including 3 straight. So I do think for the Sharks, you played really well. Like you started the game very, very well against the Isles on Saturday night. Can you actually do that again? And I think if you do it again, I think you're going to have a lot better results than you did last time. So I'm curious to see, can the Sharks repeat their performance, especially at the start of the game, right? We've seen the Sharks be a little bit slow to start games, and then kind of come on as the end of the first period and then into the second period. We've seen the Sharks do that. Again, that first game that these two teams played, the Sharks started on fire. They scored 5 goals and then proceeded to give up, 6 or 7 straight. I forget what the total number was, but they gave up a bunch of goals straight, right? The next game, the Sharks started very slowly. They gave up a bunch of goals and then they stormed back into that game. So can we have the best of both worlds? Can we have our cake and eat it too in this game? Can you start the game on time like we did, like we saw on Saturday night against Islanders, right? Where you got 20 shots on goal. I don't expect 20 shots on goal, but can you control the pace? Can you keep the puck in the Nashville's end? And I think if you do that and pressure them, I think you're going to get better results than you did against the Islanders. So that is number 1, right? Number 2, I'm watching Eklund in this game. And we know, right, with Zetterlund, how he kind of felt with that. He made it very clear. He spoke with the reporters Monday afternoon, like with the media, and kind of talked about it. But the interesting thing that he said is, I'm tired of losing. Let's start winning here. And I do think the Sharks, right, would like to kind of build some momentum, even though they've ripped apart basically everything, right? I'm watching Eklund kind of like, can this be a big, this end of the season here, and especially starting with this game, of kind of taking more control on this team and being more of a leader, right? And we know about Toffoli and Wenberg and Mario Ferraro, who are kind of, the 3-headed captain right now. And Wenberg has gotten more leadership, but these young guys, right? Celebrating, we've seen the leadership qualities, and Will Smith, I think, is going to get there as well too. But I want to see how Eklund kind of responds after, like Saturday night, like he's still doing with emotion. I think he's had some time to maybe kind of process it a little bit more and kind of, deal with it, which is 100% normal. And like, he's not like, he's still going to be kind of dealing with this, with losing his best, having his best friend traded. But I want to see what type of performance he has in this game, and if this kind of sets up a really strong end of the season run for him. And if he can start being more of a vocal leader and start grabbing some of that leadership role, and potentially set himself to wear an A next season. So I do expect Eklund to have a big game, to be honest. Like, I expect Eklund to come out and perform well, because he has, right? Anytime he has been challenged by the coaches or whatever, he has taken it, and you see him kind of raise his game. And I expect him, not that he was challenged by the coaches or anything in this, but I just kind of, I have a feeling, I've got a gut feeling that Eklund has a big game in here. So put me down for 2 Eklund points. I think this is a high scoring affair. But I think the Preds find a way, because they've been playing a little bit better. I think the Preds win 5-4. I would definitely take the over in this game. So that's going to be it for me right now. We'll be back tonight to break down this game on your next episode of Locked On Sharks, wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well.